Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Strain. I am doing a problem from chapter 11, section 4, rational functions. It is problem 35, and as you can see on the screen, the question is number 35. The question says, it costs a company $30,000 to begin production of a good plus $3 for every unit of the good produced. Let X be the number of units produced by the company. So the first thing it asks us to do is to write a formula for the total cost of the production of X units of goods. And so that's what I did, and I'm going to show you my answer. And so this is the equation that I came up with. Remember that it said it costs $30 or $30,000 to begin with, which is where this came from, and then plus $3 for each unit. So you do 3 times the amount of units that you have. The next thing that it asks us to do is to find a formula for the average cost per unit using A of X. And so this is what I did. So what the average cost would be our first equation divided by the number of units. And so when you write that out, it's gonna look like this, what's highlighted. The next thing it asks us to do is to graph the second equation, which is the average cost per unit, and then to label the horizontal asymptote. And so as you can see, I used Desmos, and then I just copied it into the document. And so this is what our graph is going to look like. And then we have a horizontal asymptote at 3. All right. And that's because if you look at our equation, because our exponents is to where it's, we have the same exponent on the bottom and the top, what you do is you put the leading number, which would be 3 over 1, and that would be 3. And so that would be your horizontal asymptote. We're then asked to explain in economic terms why the graph of A has the long run behavior that it does. And so what I said is, as the number of units increase, the less it costs to produce a single unit of the goods, and as the number of units decrease, the more expensive it is for each good unit. And then it asks us to explain why the graph has a vertical asymptote that it does. And so the vertical asymptote is actually when X equals 0, so it never approaches this line, and that is because at no points are there 0 units made, because if there are 0 units, then we wouldn't be doing the equation at all, essentially. The next thing we're asked to do is to find the inverse of the equation and then give an economic interpretation of that. And so I did the math, and so what we're doing is we're looking for X. And so when you go through the steps, what you end up having is the inverse of the original equation would be 3,000 or 30,000 over y minus 3. And so what that means is to find how many units of goods are sold, one must know the average cost of 1 unit. That would be the interpretation. And then we're finally asked, the company makes a profit if the average cost of the good is less than $5 per unit. What is the minimum number of units the company must produce to make a profit? So what it's asking us is to use this inverse equation that we found and input 5 for y. And so when we do that, we find that we need 15,000 units of good to have the minimum necessary to make a profit. All right, that is it. Thank you for watching. Bye.